Today, we're diving into the ultimate automotive mystery. It's basically a story of sudden death, specifically the sudden death of a vehicle's transmission right after a routine oil change. You know, it's a scenario that has completely baffled drivers for decades. And today? Well, today we're looking at the actual mechanical evidence to crack this case wide open.
Seriously, walk into almost any mechanic's garage around the world and you are going to hear some version of this terrified warning from car owners. Captain, don't change the transmission oil, I'm afraid it will break. It's honestly amazing how universal this fear is. People genuinely believe that doing this super basic piece of maintenance, just changing their transmission fluid, is literally a guaranteed death sentence for their car.
It's kind of like automotive folklore, right? A generational myth passed down from older drivers to the rookies. But we really need to pause and examine the actual crime scene here. Is the fresh oil really the cold-blooded killer? Or is it just exposing a victim that's already taking its very last breaths? We need to separate the cold, hard mechanical facts from the driveway fiction.
So let's get into part 1, the transmission myth, investigating the neglected gearbox.
Let's start this off by performing a little mechanical autopsy. The entire root of this mystery really comes down to timing. Check out a healthy transmission to see what happens when the oil is changed on time, usually around 60 to 80,000 kilometers. The system stays completely clean, no harmful buildup whatsoever. But man, contrast that with a neglected transmission. If a gearbox is totally ignored for 200,000 kilometers, it gets absolutely packed with this nasty metallic debris. We're talking grit and sludge straight from the internal clutches grinding against each other for years.
That brings us to part 2, the clutches and debris mystery, the unexpected lifesaver. Okay, get ready for a massive plot twist with that buildup of metallic sludge we just looked at. Believe it or not, this filthy, friction-filled metallic goop is literally the only thing keeping that car on the road. Here's how it works. Inside a transmission, you've got clutch plates that need to grip each other to shift gears. In a super neglected car, those clutches are worn totally smooth. But that metallic debris floating around in the old oil, it basically acts like liquid sandpaper. It provides just enough artificial grip for those dying clutches to actually catch and keep the car moving. It's an incredibly unhealthy environment, sure, but in a really weird way, the dirt's actually holding the whole thing together.
Which leads us to part 3, the shock of new oil. Introducing our murder weapon.
So what actually happens when we take our suspected murder weapon, the brand new transmission fluid, and pour it right into this super fragile, debris-filled ecosystem? Well, it comes down to chemistry. Fresh transmission oil isn't just a lubricant, it is loaded with high detergent cleaning properties. These detergents have one specific job: to rapidly strip away built-up sludge and keep a healthy transmission spotless. And honestly, they do their job incredibly well. But as we're about to see, they do it maybe a little too well for a dying transmission that's relying on that very same sludge just to survive. This sets off a catastrophic chain reaction. Step 1, the well-meaning owner pours in the new oil. Step 2, those powerful detergents instantly go to work, entirely washing away all that helpful metallic debris. Step 3, without that gritty metallic sludge acting as liquid sandpaper, the worn-out clutches instantly lose absolutely all of their grip. There's just nothing left for them to grab onto. Which leads right to step 4. The transmission starts violently jerking, or the gears just slip entirely and the car completely stops moving. The owner immediately blames the oil change, but the reality? The reality is entirely different. So, what's the verdict? Our investigation shows that the fresh oil is totally innocent. The new fluid absolutely did not kill the transmission. It just exposed a completely ruined transmission that was already on its deathbed. The fresh oil simply washed away the dirt that was hiding the fatal wear and tear on the clutches.
Let's look at part 4, the safe maintenance solution, preventative medicine for your car. Now that we know the true mechanical culprit is just simple neglect, let's talk solutions. If you want to avoid this entire nightmare scenario, you just need to stay in what we call the safe zone, and it is incredibly straightforward. By doing a regular drain and fill every 60 to 80,000 kilometers, you guarantee permanent cleanliness inside that gearbox. You're constantly refreshing those cleaning detergents in a healthy way, which totally prevents that dangerous, gritty debris from ever building up in the first place. This right here is exactly how a transmission ends up easily outlasting the rest of the car. But hey, what if you bought a used car? Or let's be real, you just simply forgot. That lands you directly in the danger zone. If your car has gone over 150,000 kilometers without a single transmission oil change, that old fluid has literally been cooking inside the gearbox.
If you're in this spot, you absolutely cannot just do a standard fluid change. You have to take a really strict, extremely cautious approach so you don't chemically shock the fragile system we just talked about.
Don't panic, though. Here's exactly how you handle it using our late maintenance protocol. If you're dealing with a heavily neglected transmission, step 1 is absolutely critical. Never use pressure flush machines. Forcing fluid through under pressure is going to instantly dislodge all that sludge and immediately kill the transmission. Instead, go to step 2. Perform a really basic, gentle drain and fill, but only replace about 40% of the fluid. Leave the majority of that old, gritty fluid right in there. And step 3, definitely make sure to swap out the transmission filter so you can catch any loose particles.
The logic behind this protocol is honestly brilliant. By replacing the fluid gradually, just 40% at a time, you are slowly introducing those powerful detergents into the ecosystem. You're gently cleaning the internal parts and actually giving the clutches time to adjust. It effectively rescues the gearbox and brings it back to life, all without causing that fatal, instant chemical shock that ruins the whole shebang.
All of this brings us to a master mechanic's absolute best piece of advice, summed up perfectly right here. Your car isn't cursed, it just needs timely maintenance. It is so easy to blame bad luck, or the mechanic, or the brand of the car, or even the new oil. But there are no generational curses in the garage, guys. There's just the undeniable, objective reality that complex machinery needs scheduled maintenance to survive.
Which leaves us with a pretty critical question I want you to ponder the next time you jump in the car for your morning commute. What other beloved myths, passed down from driver to driver, are secretly turning your engine into a ticking time bomb right now? Because when we let myths dictate our actions, instead of actually understanding the mechanics, we almost always end up paying the price. So keep questioning what you hear, keep learning the why behind how things work, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.